single flame can light a million more.
I got something special for you guys today. I'm here to tell you. Okay, George. I got your big long 32 pill here. I got it running and chooching right. This is a Fat Boy. This is a DC Sky competition box. I think it used to be owned by 427. I don't know. This thing's been through a lot of owners. It came here because half the box was getting firecracker hot, and it was this end, the ass end. And when I mean firecracker hot, it was getting so hot everything was melting down and burning up. So he sent it out to me because he also couldn't get it to do more than 2300 watts. Every transistor in this box was good. He said, oh, they're good, they're good. I'm like, nah, you got to have something down. So he sent it out here, and there was some pretty interesting solder work that had gone on the inside of this thing. Pretty interesting. But I went ahead and I went through and I redid it, and come to find out the major thing was that the output tune circuit was way out of whack, and then also each one of the stages had variable tuners like this in play, which worked out to be about 105 puff worth of capacitance, because people were getting in here and they were taking their fingers and they were moving the caps around and they didn't understand what each individual stage did. Like this dual stack thing, this little one on top, all that does is change the standing wave and add, subtract capacitance going in and coming out of the box. This is your output tuner. This is your primary input tuner, your second stage input tuner, your second stage input tuner. Instead of having a variable that can move around and cause half the box to be in resonance, this half, and this other half not to be in resonance, I went ahead and I put doorknobs in their place. Also on the output side, somebody had added a bunch of other caps, and I went ahead and I took those out for you, George. I took this cap out, which is only a 10 puff, and then I redid this mess for you. You said you didn't like that, so I just basically went through, cleaned everything up, and made it right. And we're going to have fun today. I've got every power supply that I own hooked up right now on the bench, going to my giant battery bank, because this thing is an amp-drawn son of a bitch. 1000 watt slug in 5X, 5000 watt slug in average, 5 watt slug in reverse back from the Bird 10,000 watt dummy load. I have to run all the way over here. Pardon the mess, I'm right in the middle of working this. I get the amp done, move it aside, then I've got this mess I've got to untangle for the fans. But my shop looks like it's been hit with a hammer. I've done so much stuff lately, I got like 7 million amps laying around here that are just in pieces. Take them apart, figure out what's wrong with them, call the customer. They say, well, I won't have money until next Tuesday to pay you for the burger that you're going to fix me today. I say, cool, I set it aside. So I've got to stop. I've got to stop for a day or two. And I got to reorganize, because I can't stand working in a pig pen. I kind of feel like that's what I'm in at the moment. But all that aside, we're going to use just a straight 4-pill, and it's running on the same power supply as everything else. So this I'm going to hit with the 2950. I'd use the striker to hit it harder, but the striker's got the overvolt protection in it. And right now we're floating at 16 volts to keep everything above 14 when I go into keying. So we're going to use the 955. We're going to hit it with the bench 4-pill. Yep, number 1391. And let's establish a baseline for drive. So we're going to flip this back to 1X. Just the straight 4-pill. Disengage this puppy. Whole whopping 600 watts, but look at the average meter. It's kind of depressing when you're on that 5,000 watt slug, you know what I'm saying? Okay. So we're going to hit this bad boy with 600 watts. Now the owner says he's never going to hit this with more than a couple hundred, and I'm like, you're never even going to wake the amp up. Personally, I think the owner's scared of it. Now, George, we got all your LEDs working. Had all your LEDs working. I'm going to have to figure out why that center one quit now. They only come into play when you key this thing. I will fab you up a foot pedal. That's not a big deal. I'll get that done here in the future. But I wanted to show that this thing is absolutely tuned right. The input tune going through it is flat, and we're going to hit it with 600 watts here real quick. And so I don't absolutely destroy my meter, I put that down on 5x. How many amps this thing's drawing? Just short of 500. 450 amps worth of draw. Just to run the 32. Because the straight 4-pill is hooked up to these blocks, which doesn't go through the meter shunt for that meter. Everybody's going to be like, oh, he's making it up. Back to 1X. It's a 10 kW slug. Right there's going to be 5,000. Seeing 5,500 to about 6,000 out of it. And remember, we're only hitting it with 600 watts, which this can take a whole lot more drive, and this box can produce a whole lot more watts. For the fun of it, we're going to turn on the Bird peak kit on that 5,000 watt slug. And just nail it over in the corner. Everybody's going to be like, this needle's sure moving a lot. That's a 5 watt slug. That's going into a 10,000 Bird watt dumbing load. What really trip your chicken is that I'm confident enough in this box to carry 6,000 watts through Mini 8. It's okay for a short distance, and I wouldn't talk on that all the time if it was that way. I'm seeing 4 watts of reflect out of a 10,000 watt dumbing load with 6,000 watts going in. That's pretty scooching good. It's about as low as we're going to get it. But George, I wanted to show you that this thing's up and running. It's definitely doing more than 2,300 watts. He told me he hit this thing with a 6-pill. He's tried to hit it with everything, and he could never get more than a couple keys out of it with the amp trying to catch on fire. What we're sitting here looking at is the FLIR. Of course, I've been keying it quite a bit, but the amp's uniformly at about 85 to 90 degrees with no airflow. And of course, that's just down through the core of the amp. These are a great box. They're built a little different. Now, according to Anthony, he got on my Facebook post and I put up pictures of this last night. He's like, oh, I know that amp. We only built 5 of those. I was like, well, I came here because I had too many fingers in it. George wanted me to rip this whole thing apart and put wagon wheel combiners in it and do a whole bunch of other stuff, and I don't see the point behind it. It was just a hair out of tune and just needed a little bit of love. The other thing that's absolutely slapping hilarious to me is all these caps. Now, back in the day, when this box was built, that was the best they had. Now, all of these caps, you'd have to have about 400 of them to equal what we could do with a supercapacitor these days. And we could stick the supercapacitor right up here in the front portion of the cabinet. Anyhow, I'm going to get to work on the fans. Then we're going to put the lid on it. And George, I might shoot a wrap-up video for this, but I doubt it. So this just might be it. This big bastard. In, out, and out, back out the door, back to the customer. Anywho, gentlemen, My name is BBI. And without a shadow of a doubt, I am the biggest mud duck in Idaho. Come check us out, www.bbiamps.com. Come find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. I am all over the place. Pulling almost 500 amps worth of current. Peaking at over 6,000 watts worth of carrier. Your friend in the corner. BBI. Got down. I'll see ya. Bye. Last little excerpt. This thing has got 6 24 volt fans, which the camera's sitting on the tin right now. That's how big this fucking thing is. Fans work good. Barely even chooching. These are high flow fans. Ain't hitting it with no girly mod neither. Gentlemen, the boxes keep getting bigger and I keep making them run. It's what I do. You guys have a good day. All nice and clean now. See ya. Bye.